Hello everybody, welcome to my X-Files. Today in the post I have been given the Buses Monthly Magazine issue number 843 for June 2025. And of course the biggest news story today is Xelabus is at 15 years old, so it's 15th anniversary, and of course the Coach Rise 2025 highlights, plus the small amount of Zebra awards. So let's begin. So of course we have new blood, it says right here. Small comment news story. So here we go. Zebra Fund part fund another 319 zero emission buses, which is basically a mini Zebra fund this time to these named councils. And it more or less tells you the operator, and of course sometimes puts next to it the number of buses when they should have gone here, but they've put it to the side on some of them. Of course Liverpool and West Yorkshire seat second-hand buses. Liverpool and West Yorkshire. And then of course Cambridgeshire is fined £6 million for Cambridge busway deaths. So there has been some reported fatalities on the Cambridgeshire busway. New last Reaver click demand response transit shuts down. There's lesser choice of routes at bus stops under the Welsh Franchising regime. So of course the Manchester Speed network goes contactless and integrated with their ticketing. Red Eagle buses fill the Reaver Aylesbury gap. The Exmoor coaster by First Southwest covers up. Cornwall of course are declaring a bit of bankruptcy with First Bus Southwest in the Cornwall area of Cornwall, because right here it shows more cuts to seasonal services down here. And then of course Scotland looked like they tried to do car reduction, but it was dropped because car use only fell by a small percentage. Where do all the buses go? So in the global news, Dancer, which actually it's the international news, the dancer leaves the dance floor because let's say that they are having a Lithuanian bus manufacturer is declared bankruptcy, but Quantron, which is another German manufacturer, bounces back. It's battery electrics ousting to Heron buses, and Stockholm ordering Solaris buses. I don't know where Stockholm is, but it's not the Stockholms that's in the United Kingdom, it's somewhere else. Of course Hyundai fuel cell hydrogen bus at the Berlin show. Was it? And a new Scania fleet for Adelaide, wherever that is. So at London, go ahead London switches routes between operating units. And that's its table right there. And then of course Havering Superloop Consultation gets launched because there's supposed to be some new ones. Of course the SL6 of course got Alexander Survivor 400 EVs, won the first such bus models for the London market. Streatham Hill improvements begins. White bus. So everybody knows that Mobico, North American school bus business, is sold. It's big, of course. Right Tech. The big news story is Right Tech, because it's supposed to join Kent's demand responsive service with RB6s. But sadly, there hasn't been anything of the RB9 getting any UK orders just yet. Mela, of course, overhauling the Strat interior in those van-based vehicles. Something about reporting. So, Xela Driven, which of course talks about Xelabus's 15th anniversary, and it goes to show they've operated a very big mixture of buses and coaches over the years. So, and of course Magic Bus also, of course, through the years, because the thing is that now that's withdrawn because of the B network, of course, has replaced all of the Stagecoach Magic Bus stuff. And that looks like it had a lot of mixture of buses over the years too. Of course, you get an early look at Next Bus's magazine stuff. So it talks about Transport for London special, which looks back over 25 glorious years of transport in that area, and talking about London, the future of transport for London as well. And of course sampling Seoul, which is a close look at how buses operate in the South Korean capital. And it looks like that South Korea has some really nice looking buses just by looking at that very colourful triaxle bus in the home of the Blackpink girls and Squid Game. So, of course, over here we've got, of course, the coach rally in which a Scania Hyger touring dual axle wins the coach rally. I don't know how, because that looks very plain and looks slightly boring, to be fair. It just, yeah, I don't know what they were looking at with that. Of course, we have better looking coaches here. Look at that, Ledger Holidays Luxuria on the VDL Futura, and that on the Williams Trial Mercedes-Benz Turismo. That looks a lot better. Classic bus stuff. Of course, they talk about the zebra stuff, and yet Gloucester's still waiting its 58, with 15 of them going to go ahead Pullums and the rest more or less going to Stagecoach. So, in the fleet news this month, we got Central Connect and Simmons starting Flixbus coach services, but you will be hearing more on the Flixbus stuff during this week because it's National Coach Week this week, and there'll be and Flixbus is starting to do services in Gloucester, starting services in Gloucester, Cheltenham, and of course Swindon, and of course the South and Cornwall as well. First bus, of course, renumbers RATP Dev London vehicles, and it looks like Go Southwest, of course, is getting Wright Street Deck electroliners going down to that part of the business first. Stagecoach Southwest takes over bus GG Ops in Guernsey, on the Isle of Guernsey, of course. So, of course, in here should talk about the new corporate livery for Stagecoach West a little bit more after all the buses I've seen. Oh, it looks like First West of England evaluated an Alexander Savara 100 EV for Bath by the looks of it. So they're probably using a mixture. It looks like Mobico is, of course, using, something a little bigger than what they were to begin with, because they used Mercedes-Benz Turismo dual axles, and now they're gone to the Scania Hyger Touring triaxles. So yeah, the Wright Street Deck electroliners, well, the first lot for Go Ahead has gone to Plymouth City Bus. So I think they're starting to bring the Wright bus stuff in, but the thing is, if that means that Stagecoach is a bit lagging in trying to get their Gloucester stuff ready for the Cheltenham and Gloucester depots for what's supposed to be their electric buses. Ooh, Stagecoach South, that is a really nice livery. Of course, they've also did, of course, the Gloucestershire County Council's Arley Court Park and Ride wrap, and as you have seen on my pictures, if you follow me at Anaconda Doe Victorious 2, you'll find out that it's very colourful indeed. So we have got to, of course, that's showing a 19-metre MCV Volvo BZLs on in Warrington Zone buses. So look over here, I know that, of course, they're, yes, it's showing more or less all the buses that are in the new corporate livery. All the ones I've seen, apart from 22,744. That one's not being said in this, so quite interesting. Oh, looks like the Aberdeen hydrogen fleet likely to return later this year. That's probably maybe because they may have found a loophole maybe in trying to get hydrogen, whether in solid or in a liquid rather than gas form, or the way that's created the shortage that made the Aberdeen's hydroliners go out of active service. But yeah, the new livery has also gone all the way to Scotland, and of course the first bus new corporate livery as well is no exception. So yeah, quite a lot here. So going back to Stagecoach North East, where they talk about the Yutong E12s. Stockton in the northeast is getting some Yutong U11 DDs as well. The first ones for the company, for in Stagecoach as a whole, as a company. But they've also, Yutong and Alexander Dennis has shown a secret that every single one of these places that you can see all along here, or at least one of their depots is going, or multiple depots, I don't know, but all these businesses, they'll all have an aspect of Stagecoach, will all have an aspect of Yutong vehicles in their fleet. But of course, at the moment, Gloucester's one is speculation of it being Yutong E10s with Alexander Dennis and Vara 400 EVs on the 94-94X route. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the rest of 2025 on the outlook of Gloucester's electric buses, and of course on Bristol's as well, and a few other places that I have been to, like on holidays and day trips. But of course, that about wraps it up, of course, for this. But keep an eye out on the content on the Flixbus stuff for National Coach Week, which of course it has begun with the Cornwall expansion, which of course the Gloucester expansion will be coming very soon, probably no later than the 15th of May. But the thing is of course, yes, I've seen Flixbuses, but like in the early morning, but I don't know which route it is, and plus it was only just the one route and probably the one coach being used, so it's going to be interesting to see what services they're actually going to really offer. But of course, all I've shown on one of those things was more or less a little bit of a blueprint, really, from Google, that thinks that that Flixbus will be doing night services from Gloucester to Bristol, Birmingham, Glasgow, etc., and Swindon, etc., etc. So, and the only place I've seen them in use is Stand B, even though that Stand C would have been probably be good use, and maybe Stand A, but the thing is that's probably mainly used by National Express, and to stay used by National Express. And of course with the London service as well, from Gloucester by Flixbus, is going to create a lot of competition between and rivalry between National Express and Flixbus. So with that said, hopefully I may be able to see if there's going to be the first departures actually show up on the departure board in Gloucester on the 15th, maybe. Hopefully. So with that said, thank you for watching my X-Files, and I will see you again next time. Slugheads!